I want to go. I want to. I heard. I've never heard Nate laugh that much. Hello everyone, I'm Josh Pomerlo, joined by Brian McWhite, shooting another episode of Teaming Up show. And today we're going to be talking about, hey, we hired someone.
Yeah,
awesome.
We finally got it done.
Shoot, now I'm out of here.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we want to talk a little bit about once you hire somebody, what are the first three things that you need to make sure you're getting done once you hire them?
Yeah, because
hiring is the hard part, but it's followed very closely by making sure that you got them started on the right foot.
Yeah, and I think it takes just as long. You know, if someone gets really great at being in real estate sales, in the real estate sales business, and that takes years and years and years and years, then the other side, then people get to that point and say, oh, I have a lot of business here. What am I going to do? How can I make more money? How can I have more opportunity? How can I have more time? All those things. And then they say, okay, I've heard I should hire someone. Mm-hmm. And so they go on that journey. And then the biggest problem with that is that journey is just as hard as the first journey of the sales. And to flip it, it's like you have to almost start all over at ground zero. It's like a whole nother business. That's right. You know, so real estate sales and hiring people. So, you know, one of the biggest things that we have found, you know, because obviously we've learned a lot through trial and error. And when I were writing this show today, I was thinking, man, we've really been through a lot.
Yeah,
it's been tough. And writing this makes it sound like, we know exactly what we're doing. I would say we know more than we did 4 or 5, 6 years ago, but we're still obviously trying to get better. But, and of course, we're not perfect. But one of the biggest things that we have found, and I've read it. It was this book called "Who is a Method of Hiring." And that book, it really explained how important it was to have clear, defined tasks, something that you can quantify, not just kind of airy-fairy, if you will. And how important that was to be able to have it on one sheet of paper and be able to say, okay, this is how you win.
Right.
This is how you win. And we can go and we can look over this one sheet of paper every single week. You know, maybe a couple times a week, and say, okay, am I doing this? Am I doing this? And am I doing this? And what I've been hearing a lot of people struggle is with, they get into the job and it's nowhere near what is said on that sheet of paper.
Right.
Because here's like, here you go. Good luck. I don't even know what you need to do, but figure it out.
Because not only do we want to have things to measure progress with, but we want to have people know exactly what they're doing, and we just don't want to throw numbers at them and say you need to close 25 transactions.
Right.
And that's the only thing we have to measure you by, and we're not even really going to be able to measure till the end of the year.
Right.
We need measurable milestones that help people know exactly what they're going to be doing and give us some tangible measures of success. Success defined by what the success looked like in the first 30, 60, then 100 days.
Yeah, and that's tough. I think, that really takes some time to sit down, really think about what this person is going to be taking off of you, what maybe that you struggle with the most, and just setting up so that they can have easy wins. And then if they win, and you set up that good outline, then they can take the position from there. Right. Because of course, once you have that person for that 100 days, 120 days, whatever the time is, and if they're doing awesome, they're going from one thing to the next, they're a great person, they're going to take that to the next level, and they're going to do things that you never thought were even possible or whatnot.
Now that said, Josh just said that you got to focus on what they're going to take off of you. In the beginning, they're going to be putting more on you.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, good point.
They are. And those first 100 days are crucial. You have to keep the pedal to the metal, making sure that you are with them a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
So that they are seeing everything you're doing. They're hearing. In fact, I often tell the story that my first training.
Don't tell. No.
My first training, because we like to hire people who are outside the real estate industry or who are even really new to the real estate industry
yep.
because they haven't learned bad habits yet.
Yeah. And that's true.
I came in from outside the real estate industry. And really my first training was sitting in the office with Josh every day, just listening to one half of his phone conversations and trying to pick up what he was talking about and then writing things down that I didn't understand and asking him questions about those things. So actually, one of the things we look for in new hires is how good are they at asking questions? How good are they at swallowing their pride and just admitting that they don't know things that they shouldn't know yet.
Right. Because the reason that's so important is because people are they're gonna get into a lot of things and not understand it. If they're not good at asking the questions and trying to figure it out, they're never gonna.
Well, they're just gonna make the same mistakes over and over and over again, or figure out how to do it wrongly, and then just keep doing it wrongly until we have to correct them.
So we don't want anyone doing it wrong.
Yeah. So we like to have morning check-ins with our new hires and just see if there's anything that they need that day, what's going on that day, and then weekly check-ins to make sure that they're hitting their milestones, finding out what gaps are there in their knowledge and in their skill set, and then addressing those, and just making sure that that they have everything that they need. I think that we forget what we didn't know when we started in the business.
Yeah, that's a tough gap.
It really is.
Because if you're not in their shoes, it's hard to bring yourself back there. It's hard to say, I can't remember all these things, and it took you years and years and years, thousands of pieces of information.
Right.
And then say, and pretend what it was like. You don't even remember what it was like back then.
So because you can come up with a training program that teaches all the things you think that they need to know, but you have to make sure that you are open and they are open to talking about the very, very basic things so that you're not surprised when your new hire, your new listing agent comes up to you and says, can you please explain the difference between a split entry and a 3-level split to me? Because I don't know.
Did you do that? Probably. Well, so and that's where you read a lot of books on training and maybe people's first 100 days, and one of the biggest things they'll say in there is break it down to a 3rd grade level,
right? Because
then there's no excuse. There's nothing that's going to get missed, and so that they're going to understand it, and you're going to understand it. Yes, they might have known maybe 10 or 20 or 30%, but that other 70% that you can't guess at what they're going to know or not know is going to be all there. And of course, don't beat yourself up. Starting day one, you're not going to have all this down perfectly on your day one. Mm-hmm. It's just like you were not the world's best listing agent day one walking into your first listing appointment. It's the same thing on the hiring thing. Set yourself up. Go read books like the Who book I just mentioned. Go to classes about hiring and training. But then you gotta just jump forward and do your best. And like you said, if you have that clear expectation, and then you're with that person on a daily basis, and then eventually like a weekly basis, and you have that sheet of paper, and you're seeing all the things that they're doing or they're not doing. Just that hands-on approach with a clear expectation is gonna get you past a lot of hurdles. So if you're not the best people who hire the best in the world, it's just, I make this analogy just like a hitter. If you went to the major leagues and you thought you had to hit 6 out of 10, you got to get 6 hits out of 10 at bats.
Or 9 or 10 out of 10, like people think about hiring.
Exactly, and I think so. If you thought to be a major league baseball player, you had to get 8 or 9 out of 10 hits for out of 10 at bats, you would be very...
You'd be really discouraged.
You'd be very sad. You'd be very discouraged to find that if you didn't know that Hall of Famer hits 1 out of 3 or 3 out of 10, you're a Hall of Famer. If you do that long enough, you're going to be a Hall of Famer. And that just goes with hiring too. You can have all the processes, you can have everything down, you can go through the do the interviews, do the background checks, the references and all that, and you're not going to bat 1,000. Mm-hmm. So then what happens? What is the best way to move forward to know that when you're not going to bat 1,000? What's the best way to keep going? And that's that process. Like I said, it's understanding up front the clear expectations, sitting down with that person and helping them succeed, doing everything where it's not the organization's fault, it's that person's fault. And then once you've done all that, it's cut bait, right at the end, and it's tough. But they're going to be in a better place if they're doing what they're really good at, and if it's obviously not the role that you hired them for, it's good just to move on as fast as you possibly can.
It's good for everybody. It's good for the team because morale suffers and team cohesion and momentum suffers when it's not the right person, and it's bad for the actual employee themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, this is hiring and staffing 101.
Yeah, right.
But we need to take responsibility for the fact that if we hired the wrong person for a job, we need to tell them that and own that and say, this was the wrong hire. I didn't see it right. I want to get you to a spot where you're going to be more comfortable, you're going to be happier, and you're going to be more fulfilled in your role because you clearly aren't here.
Yep, because you're going to have to make the decision that are you going to want to keep the best people, or are you going to want to keep the people that don't work in the organization? Because if you keep those people around long enough, the best people aren't going to be around because they're going to be like, what's going on? They're going to leave too because everything isn't going to work, and they're going to be upset, and it's going to make no sense.
It's one of the hardest things to do, especially when you are a team like us that really likes to cultivate a family feel.
For sure.
It's a very, very difficult thing to do, but it's absolutely necessary.
And then again, going back to the best way you can do it and you can fill and you can not lose sleep at night is doing everything you can to make sure they succeed, because at the end, you'll be on it so much that they'll know it's not a right fit, and they'll help with that decision, and then that makes it good to, that makes it easy to go separate ways. So
that's exactly right. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
That's it for this episode of Teaming Up. We're excited that you joined us. We believe that real estate teams are the future of the real estate industry, and we want to provide some helpful tools for you here and invite you to come along with us.
Yeah, we're excited. Keep watching the show.